stage, Mike Zakarian.
All right, let's go. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. Little Sunday fun day, Sunday special NBA bit. We went live, I don't know, maybe 15 minutes earlier than we thought we were going to because the Denver Nuggets got absolutely cooked as the Oklahoma City Thunder are moving on. Western Conference Finals against the Minnesota Timberwolves. The Final Four is set. We will have Pacers and Knicks. We will have Timberwolves and Denver Nuggets. And we're just going to dive in. Before we do that, this will serve as your NBA bit. Tomorrow, we've got a fun Hoop Sense episode tomorrow night. Our guy Trey is going to be back, which is very exciting. And then we'll have, NBA bit Tuesday through Friday. 89 Cavs will be back, all of that fun stuff. And then the games are starting, right? So even though Game 7 in the Western Conference was today, the Western Conference Finals will tip off first on Tuesday. We'll have the Minnesota Timberwolves traveling to the one-seeded Oklahoma City Thunder on Tuesday night for Game 1. And then Game 1, the Indiana Pacers will be traveling to the Bing Bong, New York Knicks for Game 1 on Wednesday. But let's dive in, man. This was such an interesting game here where Denver, it felt like we're really going to hang tight a little bit as they dominated that first quarter. That first quarter, Aaron Gordon, I think the craziest thing about this entire thing is that Aaron Gordon this morning, we're like, hey, man, listen, grade 2. I don't even know how the grades work, but if it's not 1 or it's not whatever the other number is, I figure it's bad, right? Because if it's not the first number, I assume you can't play. They say it's a grade to strain, sprain, pull, whatever you want to call it. They say not only is he out for Game 7, he's out for the entirety of the NBA playoffs. So if Denver wins Game 7, he's not going to play again. And that's not fucking NBA Centel reporting that. That's not, somebody named Kyle 779955222913. That's not. That was from Shams. That was from Shams and ESPN. And then Aaron Gordon said, call the ambulance, but not for me, because he went out and started this game. Not only did he warm up, not only was he available, he freaking started this game. And the craziest thing about the start is that he went out there and, like, early on, listen, it was so clear he was not a hundo P, right? He was not 100%. But I believe, like, in the first few minutes of the second quarter, he had already amassed 8 points and 8 rebounds in this one. Denver came out in the first quarter, and they looked like they were the more experienced team. They were the team that had been there before, that had won an NBA championship, not afraid of Game 7. They had already won a Game 7 in this playoffs, and they went out there and just dominated in that first quarter. And they were doing it, and if you were joining us on playback, we mentioned this, that the fact that they had a lead without Jamal Murray doing anything, you were like, wow, is Denver really going to win this game? And the answer was no. The answer is no. Not only are they not going to win this game, but it's not going to be close. And part of the reason is because the others of the Oklahoma City Thunder really stepped up in the second quarter. And it was Jaylen Williams, who had been much of, like, the discussion around this entire OKC team is the second guy going to arrive. Jaylen Williams, who is an NBA All-Star, a fringe All-NBA guy, had disappeared in multiple games this season, and specifically in the most recent game, in Game 6, where, his peripheral stats were fine, right? Like, where he was having close to double-digit rebounds and assists, but offensively was not really within the flow of the game. And then tonight, same thing. In the first quarter was kind of MIA, like he's on milk cartons. Where's J-Dub? And then J-Dub arrived, plays 33 minutes in this game. He goes 10 for 17 in the field. He is a plus 35 in this game, finishing with 24 points, 7 dimes, 5 boards, and a steal. He was awesome. Chet Holmgren, who didn't have as many shot opportunities and shot attempts as somebody like J-Dub, but still went 4 for 9 from the field. He had his second consecutive double-double, I believe, with 13 points and 11 boards. And then Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, this was the most regular season-ass game from Shai of all time. And what I mean by that is that you're not really sure how it happened, but he finished the game with 35 points. And that is what Shai does, baby. SGA gets to the line only 9 times. So people who are screaming free throw merchants, it wasn't even double digits. He was a plus 32. He finished 35 points, 4 dimes. He had 3 steals as well. And I mentioned the steals because the OKC defense was just swarming, man. Like nobody could get going on the Denver side of things. And like it's easy to make excuses, right? Michael Porter Jr. only has one arm. Aaron Gordon only has one leg. Russell Westbrook only has, I don't know, Russ is way more confident than he should be, right? Peyton Watson can't shoot, right? There was lots of excuses for all of these guys, but I don't even want to give them credit for that because we already mentioned Aaron Gordon's numbers, right? Like he was pretty effective early on, even though he was not 100%. OKC's defense was everywhere, man. Alex Caruso, the numbers won't back it up, right? Like Caruso finished this game with how many steals? He came off the bench. He played 26 minutes. He had 3 steals and it felt like 13. Caruso was all over the place. Alex Caruso was a plus 40. He was a plus 40 in this game, right? He finishes with 11 points, 3 dimes, and 3 steals. The other bench players, Aaron Wiggins had 8. Wallace had 7. This game is finally final, by the way, 125-93. Isaiah Joe hit 5. But the story was Caruso, J-Dub, Chet, Hartenstein. And I thought the bigs of OKC did a really good job of like collapsing on the rim. There were multiple times where like whether it was SGA or J-Dub or whatever, like Dort missed a shot. And it was like Isaiah Hartenstein. I feel like he only finished with what, 10 points? I feel like they were all on putbacks, man. They were all on putbacks. And this OKC team, I think is a real threat, and that's not a hot take. They're a freaking 1 seed, right? Like, of course they're hot. Of course they're good. But they answered and checked off a lot of things, right? Can they win? They were like, oh, this is a young team. Sure, they are a regular season team. Can they do it in the playoffs? They are now heading to the Western Conference Finals. They multiple times, whether at home or on the road, were down in the fourth quarter, came back and got a W. Multiple times, their best player was the best player on the court in Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Multiple times, they had a second player step up, and tonight it was Jaylen Williams, and everybody was concerned, can J-Dub do this in the playoffs? And he did it last night. Now, this does not mean they are on cruise control heading to the NBA Finals. The Minnesota Timberwolves will obviously be a worthy opponent, but I do think we are hesitant to give OKC love for lots of reasons, most of them being that they are young. And for whatever reason, we don't like young people. Josh Giddey does. But I do think OKC, man, we got to give them a little bit of love. Finally, I know J-Dub is doing his best, like Daniel Radcliffe in whatever Harry Potter or magician movie you want to say, where sometimes he's there, sometimes he's not. Maybe you see me, maybe you don't. I shouldn't have said Daniel Radcliffe. We should have said Jesse Eisenberg, right? That's what we should have said. I know he's not there all the time, but they did this against Denver. And you can't take credit away from them if multiple times you're saying whoever wins this series is probably the NBA Finals favorite. And then they win the series and you're like, dude, J-Dub's not real though. He is real. He is real. Also, I have not paid attention to the chat at all. We have way more people on Twitter than on YouTube, but that's okay because we've got the common man who cashed a bet today. SGA over points. We love that. And then we get Skeets. Yeah, beatdown. This was a beatdown. Let's look at some of the team numbers here before we start getting excited about the next round. So Nuggets shot 22% from 3. And you know what? That's Boston Celtics numbers. That's pretty bad. Christian Brown, 2 for 9. Jamal Murray, 1 for 8. Jokic only took 9 shots tonight. Let me refresh that. Is that real? 9 shots, 5 for 9 from the field? Man, that's what Jimmy Butler did, and everybody was pretty pissed off. 9 shots in an elimination game, in a game 7, when you were the best player in the world. 9 shots? Not enough. 9 for 11 from the line, never forget. Gordon, listen, okay, Aaron Gordon took more 3-pointers than Nikola Jokic. Nikola Jokic has twice as many hamstrings as Aaron Gordon. Come on. You got to take more shots, Yoke. You're the best player on the team. You got to do it. Michael Porter Jr., again, I think 2 shoulders are better than 1. He went 0 for 4 from 3. Speaking of Skeets in the chat right now, Michael Porter Jr. was doing his best to give no dunks a wedgie tonight. Every single shot that left his hand was just a fucking piss missile heading towards that corner of the backboard and the rim. There was not one point when MPJ released a shot and you were like, this is good. This is good. We were doing it on playback, and I was like, wedgie. I can't believe he didn't get a wedgie. It was just fire, like dead set on it. Christian Brown was awesome. I will say Christian Brown came out in the, and I know he was a minus 28 and that looks real bad. He was 2 for 9 from 3, also not great, but he was like very aggressive early. I liked how much he was taking on whoever was in front of him. He was just very aggressive. I really liked that from Christian Brown. But Russ was brutal tonight. And it's like sometimes when Russ like lets you down a little bit because he's so aggressive and he's almost playing like he just took an 8 ball and he's running as fast as he can towards the rim. Like I can almost excuse that. Tonight, what we were seeing, or this afternoon, what we were seeing is Russ was just handing the ball to the other team. There were, I think, like the first 3 times we saw Russ touch the ball, he was trying to do these entry passes that were just going to the other team. And you can't have that when you are a team like Denver who's playing with, again, Aaron Gordon, who's barely playing, MPJ, and Russ was hurt too. I want to give Russ a little bit of credit for playing through the injury. I wonder if they'll go the Boston Celtics and Los Angeles Lakers route by posting some information about how they were playing through injuries. But I lost where I was going with that with Russ. We were talking about Russ. The margin of error is so thin when you're playing a rotation like that. And when your bench guy comes in and immediately is like turnover, you're cooked. You can't do it like that. And Russ ended up he played 22 minutes. He was 2 for 7 from the field, 2 for 5 from 3. He was a minus 34 with 6 points and 4 turnovers. Like it's not going to get it done for Denver. I think Denver will be pretty interesting to see how they treat the offseason. Are they going to go back to the Michael Porter Jr.'s on the trade block? Well, are they just comfortable with what they have in Jokic, Jamal, with the development of, somebody like Christian Brown? Do they think they've got a little bit more in Peyton Watson than they do? Do they like what they saw with Julian Strawther? Like Denver approaching this offseason will be pretty interesting because they are smack dab in the middle of Nikola Jokic being the best player in the world and in his prime. You got to figure that Adelman comes back as the coach. Like, I don't think there's anything you can look at this. It's so funny, man. You get to a game 7 and you see them lose like this and you're like, what do we need to fix about Denver? Man, if you told me 3 weeks ago that Denver was going to be playing in OKC for a game 7 to decide who goes to the Western Conference Finals, I would have been like, put the pipe down. Put the pipe down. The fact that OKC made it to this is nuts. They fired their coach not too long ago. They played 6.5 dudes the entire postseason with multiple of those guys being hurt the entire time. And like, yes, does Michael Porter Jr. leave a little meat on the bone? Does he leave a little bit that's desired? Yeah, of course. But man, the fact that they even made it this far. And now we get Minnesota as Borderland enters the chat, Minnesota versus OKC. And I think that's going to be a lot of fun because even though OKC probably didn't overwhelm you in this Golden State series because even though Minnesota probably didn't overwhelm you in this Golden State series, Minnesota loves to play down or up to whatever their opposing talent is, right? So I think when Golden State lost Steph, I think they just kind of assumed they were going to win this series and they didn't really pump it up a little bit. And now that they're going to get OKC, and it's Minnesota's second time here in the conference finals, right? We get Minnesota and Indiana both going to the conference finals for the second time in a row. I do wonder if we see Minnesota like punch OKC in the mouth pretty early, right? Because again, OKC coming off of a 7-game drag-out series. I'm sure even though J-Dub showed up tonight, I think what you're going to see, as people in our Discord and chat have already done, is they're going to be like, oh, congratulations to Jaylen Williams for showing up after Aaron Gordon was hurt. You were up 30. Like, congrats, bro, right? So they're not going to give him any credit. And so now, if Minnesota comes out like healthy and rested and is able to steal game 1, we're going to have the same conversation, the same dialogue for the first couple of games of this series. My guess is that OKC will be minus like 250, minus 260. I don't know if that's live yet. But I would be surprised if this does not go back to Minnesota 1-1 because I think Minnesota does sneakily match up okay against Golden State. I like the demeanor of this team. I mean, again, I got against Golden State, against OKC. I like this demeanor of Minnesota where I feel like I've said this on every show, so I apologize. But the fact that they just know who their 8 guys are, right? They're very comfortable in who they're rotate. Like, we know who's starting. We know who their 3 subs are. If they're getting cooked because they're like switching aggressively or just throwing shooters out there, we know we're going to get more Naz Reid instead of Rudy. Like, there's like clear buttons that can be pressed by Chris Finch and the Timberwolves organization that I just think they're going to be able to hang tight with them. I'm seeing Todd in the chat says, my thing is that the Wolves won't have the bigs advantage for the first time. I mean, they won't. Why won't they have the bigs advantage? So I guess you're just saying you're taking Chet over Rudy. I mean, I guess they're just, yeah. And I agree with you. The Wolves absolutely have less talent. I mean, I don't think anybody's arguing that. Like, if you just look at but you would say the same thing about Denver. Like, OKC had way more talent than Denver's rotations, but the way it matched up, like, Denver was able to take them to 7. So I think this is going to be a very long, a very close series. I think both of these, actually, as we start to think about Indiana and the New York Knicks, I think that one's going to go long as well. I think because of the way Indiana plays, it's going to be an exhausting series. I think they're just going to be pretty aggressive with how they defend Brunson. And I think that's gonna stretch out the series. I think it's so important. The same way that I think Minnesota needs to steal one of the first 2 games, I think Indiana needs to steal one of the first 2 games, because the longer this series goes, the more that I would favor Indiana. Again, just the way that they play, their aggressive defense, their fast-paced offense, I think that could like really slow down New York. But if I have to pick, I think I'm taking Knicks. I think I'm taking Thunder. I think we're going to get a Knicks Thunder NBA Finals. I almost called it a Super Bowl. Isn't that nuts? Isn't that nuts? Look at these 4 teams, man. We've got a 1 seed, a 4 seed, a 5 seed, and a 6 seed. Isn't that wait, no, is the Knicks or 3? The Knicks are a 3 seed, excuse me. 3 seed, a 1 seed, 3 seed, 4 seed, 6 seed. Yeah, and that's Randall too. I mean, if Julius Randle is going to do, listen, his last 4 games, ready? Triple-double, 30-point game, 29-point game. If Julius Randle is going to do that shit, whoo! I do think, though, here's a hot take for everybody, and Aaron Borland, earmuffs. This might be one of those moments where OKC survived, and I think about the Red Sox when the Red Sox beat the Yankees when they were down 3-0, right? And they come back and they win Game 7, and then they take on the St. Louis Cardinals. Was it the Cardinals or the Rockies? I think it was the Cardinals. And they won in 4 or 5, right? I think we could see that. I think we could see OKC has just ripped the Band-Aid off, and they are just about to beat the shit out of everyone. I think we could see that. Again, this was the danger zone. This was the don't touch the third rail, and they got past it. And maybe this wakes up Jaylen Williams, because again, I am a believer that J-Dub figures this playoff stuff out. I think he's really good. He plays on both sides of the ball. He is an all-star. He's a fringe all-NBA guy. Like, he's a top 20 guy, top 22 guy. And I just don't believe that the lights are too bright meme. I don't. I think he's going to do it. So I think we're just going to see OKC start beating the piss out of people. But I think we're going to see OKC Knicks. I think that's what we're going to do. I don't know. Do you guys have anything else about this? I figured we would just do 20 minutes or so, and then we could get on out of here. I didn't think we were going to go live for another, until about right now. But then the Thunder, man. The Thunder, outside of the first quarter, look at this shit, man. They outscored. This is crazy. So you take away the first quarter. They outscored Denver by 19 in the second, by 11 in the third, by 7 in the fourth. That's 47, right? Is that 47? That can't be right. 47 minus 5. Yeah, that's close. Crazy. It's crazy stuff, man. Crazy stuff. Happy for all these fan bases, though. As a Celtics fan, maybe you thought I was going to be salty. No, I'm happy. I'm not even mad about the Knicks fans, man. We'll talk more about it tomorrow when we mention like Jaylen Brown playing through that injury. Everybody was shitting on him. Remember those nutcases that were like, I'd actually take Zach LaVine over Jaylen Brown. Come on, man. Come on. Vuvuzela says Denver was in shambles. Jokic more tired than... No, Jokic wasn't more tired than Porzingis. Jokic was playing 40 minutes a game and was averaging like 28, 14, and 9 or 8, whatever the fuck it was. He was not more tired than Porzingis. Porzingis was getting outplayed by Luke Cornett. So don't do that. Don't listen. This can be a time. Guys, Okay, this needs to be your takeaway. We'll do this for like 10 more minutes. This needs to be your takeaway. We can walk away from the second round of the playoffs, and you can be like, you know what, man? Celtics are pretty dinged up. The Knicks are awesome. Cavs were pretty dinged up. The Pacers were awesome. It was really just Jokic and some guys. OKC is awesome. Minnesota, sure. Golden State was without Steph, Julius Randle, and Ant was off. It doesn't have to be an indictment on, oh, dude, Boston is soft. Jaylen Brown's knee, my ass. You don't have to do that. You don't have to do that. This is just really nice. This is really good basketball. I'm excited for the Knicks fans, man. People are climbing on what's it called? Why can't I think of it? I keep wanting to say bridges because of the ship that went into the bridge. Now I want to say chandeliers. Shout out, see ya. No, why? God, why can't I think of the word? Billboards. Thank you, billboards. Crawling, he's jumping on billboards. Knicks fans are jumping on billboards. Timothy Chalamet is just hugging strangers. Tracy Morgan is throwing up. Like, congrats to the Knicks, man. Halliburton was voted most overrated guy in the league, and then he knocks off Giannis, who's doing AMAs on Twitter where everyone is asking him questions that are just clickbait, where they were like, Giannis, what's your favorite US city? Like, Giannis, who rank New York, Miami, and LA? And Giannis is just answering all of those with emojis, right? They knocked off them, and then they knocked off Spida in Cleveland. Like, that's sick for Halliburton. You go, OKC, this young core where everyone's like, oh, hey, Presti, congrats on your assets, bro. They're going to the Western Conference Finals. And then Ant-Man, the only guy that can make good NBA commercials right now, is in the Western Conference Finals. This is sick. I'm very excited. Maddie Harrison said I was going to talk crap about Jaylen Brown, but I didn't want to have to take it back after the Pistons trade from this summer. I just don't want to see the Jaylen Brown slander. You know, I think JB's good, man. Why do we hate Jaylen Brown? We're mad at him that a billionaire is paying him too much money. That's why we're mad. That's why we're mad at JB. Come on. Be mad at somebody else. Be mad at the government. Why are we mad at Jaylen Brown? Let him get paid. Jaylen Brown's done nothing but play for the same team his whole career aggressively. Let's not be mad at JB. I love Jaylen Brown. Yeah, well, cringe. Okay, but what do you like? I don't know, DJP. Should you be the one deciding what's cringe and what's not cringe? You know, I've seen some of your comments. As a Warriors fans, all these second round teams we just got beat. Yeah, I think that's fine. That's what the playoffs are supposed to be, man. That's what they are. Like, and sometimes people get hurt, but I don't think it should be, I don't think it should be a referendum on teams that, like, the Knicks shouldn't get penalized because they beat the Celtics without Tatum, because honestly, they beat the Celtics with Tatum too. Like, none of them should be shit on. I don't think. I love it. Tessa said, did KP just become an expiring contract, only value in his deal? Yeah, listen, I don't think I'm smart enough to weigh in on what I think Boston is going to do, outside of like the very boring, bland take that one of KP or Drew is not on the team next year. But I don't think Kristaps has lost all value. I mean, unless they come out and say like, hey, you know how he couldn't breathe? He's never going to be able to breathe again. Like, if that is the report that comes out, then yeah, sure. But I don't think that's what's going to happen. And I think Porzingis would still have a ton of value. I think Drew Holiday would still have a ton of value. Like, I think teams would still like him. I just am also, I don't know. We'll see what the new ownership wants to do, what kind of money they want to spend, Drew Holiday and Derek White, by the way, like, they are just one text message away saying like, please donate to our campaign, from being like a local politician. Drew Holiday's like, yeah, man, I think we could still win now. I think we're still in win now mentality. He's like, I feel like I made a home here. Like, the way those guys are talking about Boston is really funny. And listen, I love that. I love that they want to play here. Porzingis has done the same thing too. Is Monta Ellis the best Warriors player ever? I mean, if you ask 2K, NBA 2K will tell you that. Sometimes 2K will tell you that. Jaylen Brown is trying to Medicaid. All right, guys, so let's call it there. We'll be back. We'll be back tomorrow. Tomorrow at 9, we'll do some off-season stuff. Trey is officially moved in, so we're doing every 12 hours. We're doing a show tomorrow. We'll have the NBA bit at 9 a.m. We'll have Hoop Sense at 9 p.m. We'll have the 89 Cavs later in the week. Celebrating our guy Steve's birthday I mean, his birthday's not on Tuesday, but we're all going out to dinner on Tuesday, which is exciting. We'll have some SORARE MLB video content dropping as I drop the quarter. Also, I'm pretty sure we're pretty close now. I think we're within like a 10-point rate. It's close. It's close. But I think we're going to be giving away some MLB tickets. So and it doesn't matter. Well, you have to be near a MLB team. But if you are an MLB fan and you have a stadium or a game you'd like to go to, keep it in mind, because I think we're going to be giving away 5 different sets of MLB tickets, unless I really fuck this up, which could happen. Could happen. But it's close. It's close. Yeah, I did say no AM show tomorrow, Tesla. But I think we're going to do it. There's enough to talk about. We need to talk about what Boston's doing. Whoa, breaking news. Hold on. Let's do a breaking news. Let's do a breaking news drop here. Here, where is it? Where is it? Where's the breaking news? We have one. Oh, here it is. All right, I can't play the whole thing. Oh, hell yeah, dude. Let me know. Let me know. Tuesday night, 40 and over basketball league, Skeets. Get ready. All right, let's call it there. We will have a show tomorrow. We'll have a morning show tomorrow. We'll have a Celtic show tomorrow. We'll have Hoop Sense tomorrow. We're going to be talking a lot into a microphone. Hope everybody had a great weekend. Congrats to Thunder fans. Hashtag Thunder Up. Our guy, Jared Magnuson, I know he's probably pumped. He was there. He boots on the ground. He was in OKC. So congrats to Jared. For Boston fans who went home this weekend, that's okay. We got one. And for Denver fans, you got one too. You still got Jamal Murray. Aaron Gordon, like your win is that Aaron Gordon played today. Again, he played with the Aaron Gordon playing today is nuts. I still can't believe that. So maybe Denver lost, but also so did Shams. All right. Thanks for hanging out, guys. Enjoy the rest of your night. Go watch Mushrooms and Last of Us. I'm going to go back to Andor. Maybe Hacks. I got to catch up on Hacks. We're out.